Thank you, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order and welcome everybody to the Thursday, January 16, 2025 meeting of the St. Tammany Parish School Board. Ms. Coakley, will you please call the roll?
Maybe. Mr. Green?
Here.
Ms. Hanson? Here. Ms. Rutherford? Here. Ms. Fauntleroy? Here. Mr. Harrell? Here. Ms. Martin? Here. Ms. Moore? Here. Dr. Peterson? Here. Ms. Baker? Here. Ms. McCullum? Here. Ms. Lamey? Ms. Hurstis? Here. Mr. Breaux? Here. Mr. Kuzan? Here. Ms. Rufino Gallagher?
Thank you. Our invocation and pledge will be led by Mandeville High School student Sophia Villegas. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's my fault. I probably didn't give good instructions. Do you want to say a prayer to lead our meeting, or would you like me to?
You can.
Okay. Let's bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. Lord, please guide this meeting. Help us discern your wisdom and your will for us as we guide our employees and students in this parish school system. Lord, we owe all to you, and in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you. Would anyone like to recognize visitors? Ms. Fauntleroy?
It's not exactly a visitor, but I did want to give a shout out to the Covington High robotics team and their sponsor, Ms. Cephalou. They, in Opelousas, both teams got first place, so they have earned the right to go to state. But I also want to invite anybody who's available this Saturday to join us at Fountainblue High. They will be doing competing with some other schools from our district and even some private schools in our area. So if you want to get a chance to see some really amazing kids, and they're way smarter than me because they made robots and they're going to compete. So come out. They told me the most fun is in the afternoon. So, but congratulations to them. They're going on to state.
Awesome. Mr. Harrell?
Thank you, President Green. Y'all may have missed it, but before the meeting, I presented our president his gavel for this. Well, that's the former president. But thank you. The current newest president, his gavel created by the Fifth Ward's FFA and their sponsor, Mr. Hartzog. So I just want to thank them for doing that again for us this year. Awesome. And I hope you get a lot of use out of it this year.
Yeah. Not too much use, that meant, yeah. But I appreciate you, Mr. Harrell, doing that with Fifth Ward. And it's an honor to serve this board as president, and I appreciate the ceremonial gavel that Fifth Ward always creates for the new incoming president. So thank you guys for doing that. Ms. Moore?
Yes. I would like to introduce Jack Loop. I was fortunate enough to serve. He is one of our previous board members. And again, I was fortunate enough to serve under or with him. And Jack is taking over a big role at the retired teachers and administrators group also. He does legislative work and keeps us informed about that. And I think that's why he's here tonight. So welcome, Jack. Welcome back.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Moore. And when we're done recognizing visitors, I think Mr. Luke wanted to say a few words. But Mr. Luke, give us 1 second and we'll finish recognizing visitors, and then I'll ask you to come up. Dr. Peterson?
Yes, I just happened to see a former student and volleyball coach at Pearl River High School, Ms. Courtney Labradette. I want to thank her for being here. She's here to support the group that's making a presentation for us in a little bit. Thank you.
Mr. Breaux?
Yes, I want to express my appreciation to the Fifth Ward. The procedure is the president gets one, and then they retire it. So the outgoing president gets one as well, and I want to thank Fifth Ward for that. Also, I want to recognize my wife, Teresa, a retired chemistry teacher, who made a surprise appearance tonight. I wasn't expecting her to be here.
Ms. Rutherford?
I see Mr. Munson in the audience out there. I want to thank him for opening up his school to us on last week, and with the Speaker of the House, Philip de Villiers, who came and showed us all that Mandeville High has to offer our community, and that I was very impressed. And I love the 30-plus on the wall for the students who make the ACT 30-plus. Congratulations to all those students who were on that wall. That was impressive.
Ms. Moore?
The first time I've ever spoken twice one time. I wanted to thank all the students from Covington Elementary for the lovely cards all of us received. They're all hand-done, and they are signed by all the students, and I want to particularly thank Ms. Ludwig's second grade class. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And the cookies.
Seeing no others, I'd like to invite Mr. Loop up to the podium. I think he wanted to discuss something concerning the Social Security Fairness Act that was recently passed.
Wow, I believe I'd like it up there more. Thank you. Just want to touch base with you, and I'm really am surprised and glad that most everyone I bumped into tonight, out in the halls, whatever, have all been participating in getting this elimination Social Security Fairness Act passed. And that is something that has never happened in the history of the United States Congress, that they took time to take a look at this and actually realize we ought to give it to the people since it was their money to start with, and so on. So windfall elimination provision, WEP, you probably had those, heard of those before, government pension offset, GPO. So this is for basically states who didn't feel like they would need to be strong enough on their own, so they didn't do anything. And so we have a pension plan program here in the state of Louisiana. And if you are working that pension program and retire, then you do not get your full Social Security. That's one of the basics of the whole thing. We know there are several spouses who had a chance there to get Social Security when their spouse died, and as we know, they do not get that. So on, I have several friends in that boat there that don't expected to walk down there and get Social Security. We have others that have put more than enough money in Social Security there because they were completely out of our system, but didn't get a pension, yet their wife did. But when they went down to get the Social Security, started collecting it with the wife's pension, of course, they said, sorry, son, you got the wrong program in the state of Louisiana, so we're going to have to cut you back on that. It was pretty exciting there that they had to be able to get the House of Representatives to pass when they did. I really would like to know how they what they used to try and get these people to vote yes to do this. I mean, it never come close to doing it before, but somehow or another they were able to get them to do that, and so on. So when we first defeated that, we felt very good. We have quite a few states besides ours and part of the other 10 who went along with this, and it was a tremendous program to be able to get them with us and so on and meet. And so sure enough, when the Senate came along and so on, same thing happened. We were able to watch that vote on the TV that night, and there were 4 amendments that were proposed. Had any one of those amendments got onto the bill, the other senators would not have been able to vote for it as they did. But all of them voted to turn those 4 amendments down, and sure enough, they were able to pass it 70-20 unheard of in the Senate for that many people to go and want to do the same thing. The group of people belonging with us who, everyone was in D.C. that weekend for the votes. We have the police fit into our category, the fire, the station, the letter carriers fit in there, and of course, teachers and so on. And the number of people that were in D.C. representing these groups, I think, had to make an impression on those legislators who were there and realized that, hey, this is, even though Chuck Schumer there was even smiling and talking nice at the end there, like he was a big part of it. He probably voted no, but he didn't tell anyone about it. So he was real nice with it. So anyway, I want to thank anyone in here that helped and so on. I know I had, just a good group there that I was able to work with, both in the school system, without, and other retirees and so on. Firefighters, I had a couple of those gentlemen there that asked me to help them out. So we tried to get out our information to as many people as we could and ask them. And, certainly we had a big group, and how it's going to turn out, how much you're going to get from last year, and this is definitely something that we will have to wait and see. As you can imagine, as slow as these people work doing the other things, I can't imagine it would be too quick before they tell us what's happening with that. But anyway, thank you for the time there, Mr. Green, to be able to just let people know we're on the up. We just have to wait and see how high up we're going to go. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Loop, and I know we all appreciate your hard work, particularly on this matter. And when the news came out, I was just thrilled that fairness and logic finally won the day here, because it truly was deserved, and it's money earned, and so really congratulations. And I spoke to somebody in Senator Kennedy's office, and as I understand it, that payments are retroactive to when the bill was introduced back in 2023. So you should expect a retroactive payment for 2024. So that's at least what I heard. So when that payment actually comes out, we'll see, but hopefully it'll be made. So thanks again for your hard work, and we always enjoy seeing you here. Mr. Bro.
Thank you. We almost never get involved in national politics, but in this one case, the entire board brought it up and sent a resolution up to Congress to support, in support of this. And that's almost unheard of, but we were behind the teachers and behind everybody for this Fairness Act. And we as a board passed it unanimously.
Mr. Kuzan.
Thank you. I was one of the people that was affected by this. I worked 2 jobs a long time. And the only thing I didn't like was that should I have passed, my wife wouldn't have been able to get my Social Security. And I understand that now with this provision and this new law that has been passed, she'll be able to get my Social Security. That is, if I pass before she did.
Thank you, Mr. Kuzan. Don't see any other comments, so I'll move into the superintendent's update.
Thank you, Mr. Green, board members. First off, Happy New Year, everyone. It is great to see everybody back and just appreciate the hard work that goes into the school district all the year round. And I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas break and a wonderful New Year, and I just want to welcome everyone back. We are blessed. January is School Board Member Appreciation Month, and it is our opportunity to say thank you. With the help of Ms. Coakley and staff, we were able to put a certificate in your packet. So board members, I just want to take a moment to tell each one of you, thank you for all you do. It's an honor to represent this school system, and it is an honor to work beside each one of you and all the hard work that you put in day in and day out for the school system, for our employees, and for our students. From the staff that sits in front of you, from me, from all of us, we appreciate all that you do for us and all that you do for the school system. So if everyone would join me in a big round of applause for amazing board members. Our C&I staff in a little while is going to be doing a presentation for us, so I thought I'd kick it off with a little video. Recently, we were at North Shore Technical Community College, and our principals and business teachers help us work with our students to put together what is called the Trust Your Crazy Idea pitch. And so what's asked is our students to come and put themselves out there and present a product, a service to a judge, a panel, and kind of get used to making that presentation, doing things that they may normally have not had a chance to do, make a sales pitch, try and sell a product. So let's take a little video and take a look at what our students recently did at North Shore Technical Community College.
I just want to let you know how proud I am of you. Just putting yourself out there, putting your idea and your product out there and pitching it in front of professionals to see where it's going to go. I just want to wish y'all the very, very best of luck. I'm pulling for you. Those scholarship dollars go a tremendous long way.
It just started at the beginning of the semester.
Today is Trust Your Crazy Idea Challenge, which is a partnership with Junior Achievement of Greater New Orleans and St. Tammany Port Startup North Shore.
Heat your coffee in the morning.
Students in our Principal of Business class have been working on their pitches for the last few weeks of their innovative ideas where they solve a problem in the marketplace and pitch their idea to a panel of industry experts.
Things that they have thought about for a long time, or gadgets or gizmos, whatever it is that they think has a chance to be something that other people could use. So I just can't wait for them to get out there and, make themselves vulnerable, put themselves out there, learn how to present, learn some communication skills.
My name is Reagan Ardwin, and this is Silence. It was incredible to be able to come here, really understand how the process of how to create a business, and my teachers have been super supportive throughout the entire process. I think it's just really incredible that we're offered this opportunity.
Today's important because this is a culmination of a very relevant curriculum unit for our students, where our students see meaning in what they're learning.
Choose your flavors for that.
There's a lot of stuff you learn, especially from hearing the input the judges have and the questions they ask. Having the opportunity to learn and be in an environment with other entrepreneurs, it's a good environment.
Like a day like today honestly makes me really want to be part of something like this in a business state, like a business manager. This is really motivational to me.
We're really excited for the students that win today, go on to the regional competition in New Orleans, and they're going to compete for thousands of dollars worth of scholarships or opportunities for venture capitalists to invest in their product.
As Mr. Green said, it's kind of like our version of Shark Tank. So it was tremendous to see the kids out there. And like I said, it takes a lot to get up in front of people like that and pitch something and make yourself vulnerable. And I just appreciate our principals, business teachers, our business departments at our high schools do a tremendous job, along with so many of our CTE teachers. And you'll hear a little bit more about some of those things that are going on here in a few minutes. But a huge thank you to everybody involved. For the first time, we started a second semester by kicking off with a PD day rather than a day of instruction. I heard from so many of our employees that work at our schools that it was just such a great way to start the semester rather than coming right off of the break and jumping right back in with 25 students. They were able to kind of gather themselves, do some PD, kind of get themselves ready, wrap their brains around what they needed to do to kick off a great semester. So I just appreciate the calendar committee and everyone taking a hard look at the calendar and let's thinking outside the box and doing something that St. Tammany Parish has never done. So I appreciate everyone that was a part of that helped that become a reality. Also, recently, just a few things that we've done recently. We hosted Leadership North Shore, which is the leadership group from East St. Tammany. Ms. Gallagher is a part of that group. She is in the class of 2025. We hosted them for about 2.5-hour presentation with my administrative team, which was a great way to start our day last week on Wednesday. And then they transitioned over to our school campuses where our students got to show off our campuses. Administrators kind of went through, they got to tour our facilities. So it was great to host them. And I just appreciate the time and effort they spent coming over and getting a day in St. Tammany Parish Public Schools. Again, it was a great experience. Just recently, I was able to spend some time with Dr. Brumley. I was invited, when I got the notification, it didn't include who would be in that group. It was a small group experience. Dr. Brumley asked to meet with a handful of superintendents. When I got there, it was 12 superintendents from around the state that had received that invitation. As was told to us, here sits superintendents, 12 of you guys that make up 45% of the student body in the state of Louisiana, which was 311,000 students. So it was great to sit down for the majority of our day and just spend some time hashing out some issues, talking about some challenges that we have, and just being able to spend some time with superintendents, most of them from large school districts. And that's what I found out more than anything. As we talked about things and we laid things out, we realized as different as we are from around the state, from Caddo to EBR, to Jefferson, to me, to Calcasieu, Lafayette, and many school districts in between, we realized that our challenges and our needs are very, very similar. As different as we are, and as different as our communities are, we have very similar challenges. So it was great to kind of lay some of those things out and pick Dr. Brumley's brain for a little while and his staff and hear about some of the new initiatives and things that are coming down the pipe. So I will keep everyone posted as we kind of go down that road. Also yesterday, Dr. Langlois and I got a chance to go present to the North Shore Business Council. It's a tough group, as you heard from them last board meeting. They've challenged me from the day I got the job. Their demands on me, expectations of the school district, and that's kind of how I started my presentation. From the day I met them, they called me into their executive council's office and explained what I needed to focus on and what they felt like as a superintendent, things that they wanted to see addressed. And since I've gotten the job 4 years ago, I have done just that, and they communicated that to the membership yesterday. So it was a great time kind of pitching our new capital improvement plan out there with them, but also giving an update on the school system and kind of talking about where we are. So I appreciate Dr. Langlois coming and doing that. We took some hard questions, answered some hard questions, and had some great conversations. So board members, all like I said, representing you guys is a pleasure and an honor for all of us. And again, thank you all for your service. Thank you for what you do for me and for this school system every day. And congratulations on Board Member Appreciation Month. So that'd be it, Mr. Green. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jabby. Any questions for the superintendent? See none, so we'll move on to extra special recognition. This is extra special because we have some Mandeville High School students here who are representing our Quiz Bowl team. And Mr. Bordelon, Jason Bordelon, the coach, is going to give a little background, but to steal a little thunder, this is the first time, or at least the first time in a long time, that a public school has qualified for the nationals in the Quiz Bowl competition. And I remember being a kid, waking up on Saturday morning and turning on the TV and watching Quiz Bowl competitions and knowing who the schools were, like Covington versus Jesuit or Mandeville versus Brother Martin. And it was always fun to watch. Do y'all still have to wear sport coats and ties? And no. It's a little more lax now, right? But really, without further ado, we've used this some time to recognize sports teams, robotics teams, and my daughter and Miss Martin's daughter, who shares some classes with some of your teammates, that she came home and said that the Quiz Bowl team qualified for nationals. And literally that afternoon, Mr. Bordelon reached out to me and said, can we recognize these kids at a school board meeting? And I jumped at the opportunity. And so we welcome you here. Mr. Bordelon, if you'd like to come on and say a few words, and I think a few students would like to speak as well. So you're welcome to the podium.
All right, good evening, members of the board and all guests. My name is Jason Bordelon, and I am the head coach of the Mandeville High School Quiz Bowl team. It's a great honor to stand up here tonight. I do want to take this opportunity to share the success and the growth of our Quiz Bowl team that we've experienced, not just this year, but in the last 3 years since the team has been revitalized at Mandeville High, as well as highlight kind of the value and the impact that this program has had on not just our students, but on the school community and others. So 3 short years ago, I made it a personal mission. I've grown up in Quiz Bowl. I've coached and played Quiz Bowl basically my entire life. And I made it a personal mission to revive the Quiz Bowl team at Mandeville High School, because I'd always heard about how great the Quiz Bowl team was this years ago, and then it just kind of dissolved. And since then, our team has grown from, we started off with just 4 members to now as high as 20, and now we're right at about 17 members, and so we have about half the team here tonight. These kids behind me started off as novices with no experience, not even knowing what Quiz Bowl was. And we have, in just 3 years, we've grown from that to qualifying for nationals for the first time in the history of Mandeville High. And we're also the only traditional public school in St. Tammany Parish to qualify for nationals. I think it's been over 20 years. I know that. I'm not exactly sure the exact number, but I know it's been over 20 years. And I'm very proud of that. So over the past 3 years, our Quiz Bowl team has excelled not only in competition, but they have honestly demonstrated the true spirit of teamwork, intellectual curiosity, and perseverance. The amount of stuff that this team has gone through, and they just keep pushing, and they keep pushing, and they keep pushing. So everything they have, they deserve. Over the past 3 years as well, we have participated in multiple local, regional, and also state tournaments. And since last year, our students have consistently placed among the top teams in every single tournament that we have been in. Their hard work, dedication, and passion for learning are extremely evident every practice, every match, and I'm really honored to just see the growth every single day. Every day they grow a little bit more. But as we all know, the success of a team is not measured in just trophies and awards. It's about the lessons that these kids learn along the way. It's about about the development of critical thinking skills, the ability to work together as a team under pressure, and the confidence to face challenges and to persevere. Through Quiz Bowl, these students behind me have honed these skills, and I have seen incredible personal growth in each and every one of them. They have all grown in some way, and I'm very proud to be their coach. The skills that they develop here, and one of the things that I talk about with Quiz Bowl as well, doesn't just serve them, in academics, but it also helps them in whatever path they choose in life. So it's not just Quiz Bowl. It's they take this and they learn and they can grow from this past high school, past college. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Munson. A lot of this could not be done without Mr. Munson. He is incredible. We love him. He is the best. Also, other members of my administration, my assistant coach, Jared Foray, the parents of these students who are consistently at matches, who are consistently doing everything they can to get these kids up at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, and they sit with us until 3:30. It doesn't go unnoticed. Also, the school board, I'd like to thank you, because without you, we would not be able to have a Quiz Bowl team, and I wouldn't be standing here today. Every victory, every ounce of improvement, every ounce of effort is possible because we have a community that believes in these kids, and they believe in seeing them succeed. We also have a student body at Mandeville High that loves to see these kids grow and loves to talk about the Quiz Bowl team, and they're always talking about how great they are and just how much they contribute to the school. So the impact of Quiz Bowl extends, beyond just the team itself. It enriches the school. It fosters a love of learning, and it also inspires students to see the value in academic excellence. Not only do these kids work hard in Quiz Bowl, but they also work just as hard in the classroom. I am very proud to say that the Quiz Bowl team has an average weighted GPA of 4.5 and an average ACT score of 32. Very proud of that. Many of these kids are also on our ACT 30 plus wall as well, which again, I'm very proud to see those faces every day. Quiz Bowl is something that is and always has been, near and dear to me. I'm always trying to push to make Quiz Bowl a highlight of our school, of our community. I encourage, students and teachers at schools all around this parish to push for Quiz Bowl at your school so that Quiz Bowl can thrive and continue to create better students and better people. I'm excited to see how Quiz Bowl we continue to grow at our school and also beyond our school. I really appreciate you giving us the opportunity tonight, and I appreciate you, Mr. Green, as well. I appreciate you allowing us to be here to be recognized. And I'll leave you with Mr. Munson had started when he began at Mandeville High. He created the Seize the Day. We kind of took that and changed it a little bit. So what we say after every Quiz Bowl announcement, after every Quiz Bowl matches, we say, "Seize the buzzer." Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'd also like to call up my vice president and one of my team captains, Aditya Babar.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aditya Babar, and I'm the current vice president of the Mandeville High School Quiz Bowl team. Participating in Quiz Bowl has been a deeply transformative experience for me. From the very beginning, I've been struck by the intense level of competitiveness and ambition that drives the entire community. Every tournament serves as an opportunity to push myself further, constantly testing my knowledge and improving my ability to think quickly under pressure. The pursuit of excellence in Quiz Bowl has taught me to enhance both my strengths and weaknesses, as each match offers valuable lessons and areas for growth. The level of dedication required from countless hours of strategizing has shown me the true value of hard work and perseverance. Most importantly, Quiz Bowl has given me a sense of camaraderie with my peers who share the same passion and drive. It's a journey that has shaped me into a more determined and focused individual, and I'm proud of the progress that we all have made. I want to say thank you to my friends for being part of this journey, and thank you to Mr. Bordelon and Mr. Foray. And thank you to you all for letting me come up here and speak today. Thank you.
Also, I'm going to bring up Logan Penton, who's actually one of those original 4 members. He has been with us from the very beginning. He is also the president of Quiz Bowl, and he is also a team captain. So thank you.
Thanks so much for having me, everyone. I remember our first tournament at Christ Episcopal in Baton Rouge. It was just the 3 of us jumping into the deep end, and despite the nerves, we still managed to hold our own. That day truly set the tone for the future of Quiz Bowl for MHS, and we walked away from it a stronger team than ever, eager to be among those on the podium. The drive for excellence isn't the only thing that matters, but it's the desire to learn, so that we can have the knowledge to back up our every decision, so that we can be virtuous citizens and come away from our experience better than when we came in. I think the most important part of that is building a community of ambitious, hardworking people, and I see Quiz Bowl as that community. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, team, and we just couldn't be more proud of you representing not only Mandeville High School, but the best of what St. Tammany Parish has to offer, and we wish you the best of luck in Nationals in Atlanta in May. I'm sure there'll be some stout competition, and there'll be a lot of learning experiences from that competition, but we wish you the best of luck, and if there's anything that we can do to support you, please let us know, and seize the buzzer. Yeah, and look, if we could, one last time, if your students and the parents that have supported them and the coaches, please stand up one last time so we could recognize you. So we usually let you guys leave the meeting. If you want to take this opportunity, we'll take a quick break and you guys can head home or celebrate before we get into kind of the meat of the business here for the board meeting. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Look at this. Probably going to be a governor. Perfect.
get started in a minute. I'd like to call the meeting back to order and move on through our agenda. First being the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held December 12th, 2024. May I have a motion? Ms. Moore, do I have a second? Mr. Kuzan? Any comments from the public? Any from the board? Please vote. And that motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is, Mr. Alfonso, a retirement resolutions for certified personnel.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. Green, Superintendent Jabby, and Board. Appropriate retirement resolution on the following certificated personnel subsequent to the December 12th, 2024 meeting. Pamela A. Justy, Bayou Woods Elementary, 34.58 years, 18.51 years in St. Tammany Parish. Elizabeth G. Laborde, Educational Center, 15.04 years, 10.51 years in St. Tammany Parish. Paula G. Gamilla, Harrison Curriculum Center, 16.53 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Sharon M. Hagstedt, Harrison Curriculum Center, 39.75 years, 32.83 years in St. Tammany Parish. Tamara E. Murrah, Harrison Curriculum Center, 32.95 years, 31.95 years in St. Tammany Parish. Excuse me. Paula J. Conway, Honey Island Elementary, 32.58 years, 20.58 years in St. Tammany Parish. Rebecca L. Crane, Pearl River High, 38.52 years, 24.52 years in St. Tammany Parish. Norman E. Dubison, Salmon High, 17.48 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Jean B. Windhorst, Salmon High, 28.21 years, 22.28 years in St. Tammany Parish. And Stacy M. Arcement, Slidell High, 32.62 years, 19 years in St. Tammany Parish.
Certainly a lot of experience. Do I have a motion? Ms. Baker, do I have a second? Ms. Hanson, thank you. Any comments from the public? Any from the board? Yes, Ms. Moore?
I'd like to thank these individuals. We have a lot of years going out the door, and we appreciate all that you've done for our school system and for the students of wherever you are, because a few were outside of our school system at one time. So thanks again.
I was waiting on Mr. Bro.
You know the question. What was the total years?
For certificated, it's 288.62 years. And it's a total of 10 retirements. It's a lot of years. As you see, all these people qualify for retirement. It was 6 more retirements than last year at this time.
That was my next question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'm ready for you.
Any other questions from Mr. Alfonso? Please vote. That motion carries unanimously. Item C.
Thanks again, President Green, Superintendent Jabby, and Board. Appropriate retirement resolution the following employee support services personnel subsequent to December 12, 2024 meeting. Moletta W. Moen, 5th Ward Junior High, 23.48 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Catherine F. James, Lakeshore High, 22.64 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Teresa A. Holden, Leroy Junior High, 24.76 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Winifred M. Goodwin, Mandeville High, 29.12 years, 20.6 years in St. Tammany Parish. Lisa B. Waller, Mandeville High, 14.06 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Denise T. Bangs, Maroney Elementary, 24.44 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Doreen F. Doty, Montleon Junior High, 15.31 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Karen M. Rivera, Montleon Junior High, 16.09 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Pamela C. Newberry, 6th Ward Junior High, Junior High, that's old, 6th Ward Elementary, 26.49 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Sherry L. Pizzolata, Slidell High, 17.44 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Sidney P. Cushing, Transportation Center, 17.23 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Darla M. Lassus, Transportation Center, 22.92 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Cheryl L. Modica, Transportation Center, 23.22 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Ronald J. Modica, Transportation Center, 20.19 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. And that's a total of 297.39 years, and it is 2 less retirements than last year. And it supports that. If I had one comment, 2 comments really. You know, when you see Transportation Center, it looks like a lot. Please remember, there's 2 job classes there. In this group right here, we're only losing 2 drivers, and Matt already has it moving and filled. And I want to thank George, you know, because majorities of these retirees, they see George Bodie, and George Bodie helps them process their paperwork. So thank you to George.
Thank you, Mr. Alfonso. Do I have a motion? Ms. Rutherford, do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. McCullum. Any comments from the public? Any from the board? Ms. Rutherford?
I'm sorry, I just want to say congratulations to, she's like a cousin to me. We're not cousins, but we go way back since we were children. Lisa Waller, love her. She's the sweetest thing ever. So we'll be celebrating soon, Lisa.
Yep. And I'd like to congratulate Winnie Goodwin on her retirement. She's a nurse at Mandeville High School and has been a long friend. And so congratulations, well deserved. Any others? Let's please vote. That motion carries unanimously. Ms. Tipton?
Thank you. We have a couple of bids tonight. We're recommending acceptance of the low base bid submitted by CDX Construction LLC in the amount of $290,000 for the walk-in cooler freezer at Folsom Elementary School, and that's school board project number P0314.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? Ms. Fauntleroy, do I have a second? Ms. Hanson, thank you. Any comments from the public? Any from the board? Ms. Baker?
A walk-in cooler, that's all that it is a piece of equipment?
Well, no, yes, it is a piece of equipment, but it's a large piece of equipment that will actually sit outdoors, be on a slab, have a canopy over it. We'll cut a door through an existing exterior wall, and their old, very small walk-in cooler freezer will become an extra storage room. But this will give them over 2.5 times the amount of storage that they've had from the original construction of that kitchen.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other comments? Please vote. And that motion carries unanimously. Item E.
This is another bid that we received before the holiday break. We're recommending acceptance of the low base bid submitted by Spartan Building Corporation in the amount of $657,000 for the renovation of Consumer Science ProStart Classroom at Covington High School, and that's school board project number P0347.
Thank you, Ms. Tipton. Do I have a motion? Ms. Fauntleroy, do I have a second? Dr. Peterson, any comments from the public? Any from the board? Ms. McCullum?
Yes, I just appreciate that this is being done. This is a very needed renovation for their ProStart program over there, and I'm really excited to see this come to fruition.
Ms. Baker?
So, Ms. Tipton, so I'm familiar with the current capital improvement plan that's going to be rolled out here in the near future, but are these small projects that come up outside of the capital improvement plan from last year the last 5 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is just stuff that comes up as needed that we take care of in general fund?
Parish-wide.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Hanson?
I agree with Ms. McCollum. This is very definitely needed. You can ask the current teacher. She will tell you that some of the area in that is like what it looked like when I was a future homemaker of America back in the day. I know it shocks people to know that I was that. Actually, was vice president. Anyway, I also want to ask a question as it relates to the proposal for the Discovery Center. Is this something that we could perhaps see, with the tourism industry in South Louisiana, that there might be a need? I know the primary thing about the Discovery Center is STEM focused, and but is it something that could be culinary focused that we could consolidate resources there?
Our ProStart programs are going to be supported at all of our high schools. Covington is one of the last two that needs to be addressed. It would be very difficult to house that. I'm not saying at some point in time there couldn't be, but the primary focus of the Discovery Center is healthcare and STEM
Okay.
at this point.
I just was looking
what
at
the
it.
future holds, I don't
never
know,
can tell, yeah.
long-term future. But for right now, it's going to be STEM and healthcare focused primarily.
But every high school it's not like some high schools have it and
We have
some
one more high
don't.
school that's part of the capital improvement plan to be addressed. All the rest of them have either been addressed, and this is the second to last one.
Okay.
To have that happen.
Great, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other comments? Please vote. That motion carries unanimously. Item F is recommends acceptance of the revised superintendent evaluation instrument. And can I get a motion? Ms. McCollum, second. Ms. Baker? Any comments from the public? Mr. Broom?
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Robert Broom from Slidell. I was excited to have the opportunity to go through this superintendent evaluation form, and I'd like to offer a couple of comments. All of the questions in here look very challenging, but very good questions. I'm particularly excited about element 4. The central office leaders to increase in student enrollment and retention. I think that it's a new day in this world, in the educational world, and we have to compete for our students much more actively than we have in the past, and I think that's something that the administration will be able to move forward on, and I think that was an excellent evaluation. The other one, I would like to say that element 1.6, I don't understand it. It looks like there's a word missing or something. Perhaps some editorial work could be done on just the wording of that. It doesn't, you're accountable for implementing district-wide at the school levels, but I don't think it's not clear to me what he's expected to implement. So perhaps some rewording on that, at least to clarify it. Yeah. So anyway, and element 1.5, this is central office leaders design the collection and analysis and reporting systems necessary to monitor. It's an excellent goal to set. Then they talked about things like professional development. I'm not sure that the evaluation criteria match development, what looks to me like data processing infrastructure. But thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Broom.
Thank you, Board President Green. Brent Osborne, Federation President. I would like to ask the board to table this motion tonight. I agree with Mr. Broom that there's some areas that need some work. I did mention last time on December 12th, I thought it'd be a good idea to add a component that dealt with the 7 habits plus 1. Leader in Me has an 8th habit, with the idea that this Leader in Me program is all about a leadership culture. And I think for it to be truly successful, it needs to be from the top down. I did send to the board officers a kind of example of this. I kind of let AI run with it, but you'll see, and if anybody else is interested, just reach out to me. You know, everything from win-win to be proactive, all of it has 4 criteria from highly effective to ineffective. So if we're going to ask our students to embrace this leadership model and our teachers to model this leadership model, we need to see it from the top down. I also just genuinely think it will lead to better board relations between management and also employees. The strategic plan also is another one of these initiatives that I don't feel like people had input into. It was just kind of laid out in August. Probably should have gone through several meetings where the public could come in and have some input. So I think because this instrument is exclusively based on a strategic plan that didn't have much input, probably the whole thing needs to be looked at again. I also believe the performance metrics are too low. The goal is to hit 95 DPS by 2029. At the measurements of 1.3 for highly effective, you would only get to 94. And compared to current scores, that would only place it at 4th. We would still not even be in the top 3. By the time you guys run for re-election, you still won't even be in the top 10. And that's really what the public is all about, is that ranking, that competitive ranking. So for those reasons, I ask that you table. Thank you.
Ms. Barrios?
Lee Barrios, retired teacher. I have a general question or some concerns about how are these goals measurable relative to the evaluation of the superintendent. I mean, data is data, but they don't all address data per se. It's opinions of people who input the effectiveness of the superintendent. A few examples. Oh, also, this instrument is supposed to be designed for the school board to use to evaluate, but a lot of this is for administrators, school leaders, and some for employees to have input to evaluate. For strategic plan number 1, for instance, strong leaders, strong teams. Central office, 1.1, central office leaders with support of external partner. That sounds like new hire. Coach school-based leaders to implement instructional planning strategies through the instructional leaders. So the evaluation for effective, for instance, it says greater than 80% of the school leaders strongly agree or disagree. That's not really data. That's based on opinion. 1.4, central office leaders strengthen central office communications to increase collaboration among all staff. Greater than 80% central office leaders strongly agree or disagree that the meeting and communication, again, same issue. Relative curriculum, let's see, 1.2, for instance. Central office leaders and school leaders strengthen implementation of adopted curriculum in science through an intensive focus on lesson plan internalization. This sounds a lot like the concerns that teachers have, that they have to follow these curriculums strictly rather than being able to input and create their curriculum. And I'll talk some more about it in the 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Before I turn it over to the queue, because I do see somebody in here, I'd like to invite Ms. Baker and Ms. McCullum to speak on this. They did a lot of work on this evaluation and can kind of give you a little context and background as to how we came up with this. Ms. Baker?
Yeah, so just to give you a little bit of background. School boards, as I understand, are the only elected officials that are required to do so many, and Christy could probably tell me, but so many hours of continuing ed. I don't think any other board that's elected is required to do this. So in order for us to be an effective board member, we have to get these hours. These hours are when we go on taxpayer dime, when we go to an LSBA convention, and when we go to these conventions, there's a menu of mandated topics and then some that you can see. So one of the ones that I think probably 4 or 5 of us have gone to superintendent's evaluation. And so according to LSBA, Louisiana School Board Association, it is a requirement that the superintendent's evaluation matches the strategic plan. And so we didn't write the strategic plan. It is a plan that was developed by, I'll probably let Ms. McCollum explain more of the details. But we didn't, as a board, decide, well, let's just use the strategic plan. That is the expectation of us. It is our job to do the evaluation, and quite honestly, each and every school board member is going to have to get with people to collect this data. I mean, the data will already be, the strategic plan is a living, breathing document and will change from time to time. It's not to say that a school board member could not make an additional page of whatever personal goals they think need to be addressed. But to be in compliance, this is why it's verbatim of the strategic plan. And if you had anything to add to that?
Yes, well, first of all, in reference to us rolling out the superintendent evaluation in December, it should have been given to Mr. Jabia in June. And we met with him, and he agreed that he was okay with us working on matching his evaluation to the strategic plan through that time period, him knowing and agreeing in that it would be based, the evaluation would be based on the strategic plan. So he knew what goals he was having to work toward. And in that process, the strategic plan, of course, was developed. Our administrative staff was supported by the School Leadership Center, and they did extensive research and data collection with community members, with parents, with teachers, with administration, anybody involved in our school system to collect the data that they collected. The administration had us meet with the school leadership team after they compiled all of their data and their collection, even before they actually wrote the strategic plan. They assisted our administrative staff and our superintendent in writing the strategic plan, so that's where that came from. So from there, then, in our efforts, Ms. Baker and myself's efforts to match his evaluation to the strategic plan, each of the SP, which stands for strategic plan numbers, are the 4 pillars, 1 through 4, are the 4 pillars of the strategic plan. Each element underneath those are the goals in the strategic plan for each of those pillars. We did not create those. Those were created with the School Leadership Center team and our administrative team, and we therefore made the evaluation instrument to match that. The 5th SP number is the academic goals of the strategic plan, and all of the percentages underneath are the same as the strategic plan, with highly effective being greater than the goal at the end of the first year. This plan is a 5-year plan. Our instrument has to be a 1-year plan. So therefore, we had to accommodate for that. The reason we used highly effective being greater than the goal is that is exactly the way our teachers, administrators, everyone that has SLTs, in order to be highly effective, they have to go above their goal to be highly effective. To reach their goal, they are effective, so we match that. And the others descend from there. For the percentages of the academic goals, which were growth from our current percentages. So from our current percentages, I'm a math person, we subtracted those from the goal at the end of 5 years. So the 95 Mr. Osborne mentioned is what is expected at the end of 5 years. We divided that by 5, and therefore we will have yearly goals from there, which means this instrument will change some every year because of that. There are goals that are from the strategic plan, like this is a 5-year plan. So therefore, some of the goals are not going to be launched until year 2 and year 3, and those are indicated in the superintendent's evaluation, which means as Ms. Baker said, this is a living document. So therefore, the strategic plan will be revised yearly. Our evaluation instrument will be revised yearly. If we decide, as Ms. Baker said, to add additional goals in at some point in time other than the strategic plan, we can certainly do that as a board. But the consensus at this time is that we cannot do that because we're in the middle of Mr. Jabia's contract. He needs to know what he's being judged on. He should have known in June, which he did, because he knew we were going to match it to the strategic plan. So that kind of explains our process. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McCullum. I see Ms. Hanson queued up.
Yes, I'd like to address the concerns that a couple have brought up in terms of the strategic, the way I've read the document, and they've been working on this since, like they said, since prior to summer. And so we've seen this a few times. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe we have already tabled it once. Okay, maybe we did. Okay, then I stand corrected. However, in terms of this, the strategic plan, again, it is just like if a principal was their school improvement plan, they were evaluated based on their school improvement plan, or their, which they are evaluated based on their school improvement plan, academic growth, and then some other area that's related to their job description. Someone mentioned that all of this is opinion, but people's opinions and people's thoughts on how things are going, how things are being implemented, do create data points. It does create data. Mr. Jabia, when you look at these items, the SP items, each one of the items, they have to do with things that he is 100% responsible for. Everything. Now, he may have people assigned in those places that they are then thus going to, oversee that, like curriculum and instruction, or administration and data collection, and these type things. But all of this is listed in the strategic plan, and it's listed in each one of these strategic plan number 1, strategic plan number 2, number 3, such as there's information about instructional planning strategies. Okay, what do our school leaders think of that? And if they don't think that things are going as they should be going, then that's going to show up in the data, and it's going to be, okay, Mr. Jabia, we understand that Dr. Langlois is responsible for curriculum instruction, but ultimately that's something you're responsible for. So why is it that so few of our survey results are showing that they're not getting the PD they need? The assessments aren't aligned. Then we don't have instructional strategies. We don't know how to implement the adopted curriculum. So ultimately, how those people have to carry out their job responsibilities is going to show up in those surveys, and it's going to show up as a data point. So that is something, a means by which we can more objectively evaluate the implementation of what we're supposed to be doing here, which is educating kids through assessments, through instruction and all that. In terms of the leader in me, I agree with you, Mr. Osborne. We need to have things that address the type of school climate, school culture, the leadership, and is that leadership transcending and transforming across to all levels, okay, in all schools and all, but there are elements in this that have to do with culture and school climate. And specifically mentions leader in me. 3.1, well, 3.0 has to do with implementing different things, but 3.1 is thriving school community, and it specifically lays out the surveys based on what the leaders who were in the schools having to implement, what their thoughts are in terms of, is it being implemented? So that is being addressed in the, as well as mental health, which impacts school culture and school climate. One specifically about school culture. And as Ms. McCullum had said, there's specific academic goals that will be based on what scores will be. There's also something about community. So ultimately, he's responsible for all of this. And one of the things I did bring up at the December meeting was there's no room for any of us to give any feedback on something that isn't a line item. So this is something we discussed that we may work to add for the following year. Some level of objectivity, because you can't always put data points on every single thing. I agree that the majority of it should be data points that we can objectively say, no, that's a 2, or no, that's a 3, or no, that's a 1. But all of these encompass everything that he is responsible for and has to, answer to the board for, and us in turn answer to the community. So that's why I feel like, not to mention the fact it's January, and this is the 24-25 evaluation. So that's one of the reasons why I will be supporting it, and we will continue to update and add as needed. But thank you for your comments. That I hope that helps to explain where I'm coming from on it.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Just a couple quick thoughts based on the public comment. In regard to not having any input, I remember when we went to the presentation by the School Leadership Center, the lady who was working with the district to develop it, she said multiple times that she had never seen the type of input and response on the surveys from parents, from students, from staff members or employees. There were just far more returned surveys than she usually got when she went in to develop these things. So I do feel confident that they did get sufficient input in writing the plan. Also, the leader in me, a lot of this input is going to be obtained, a lot of the data is going to be obtained from these surveys that go out as part of Leader in Me. So, and then in addition, Ms. Hanson already addressed several other places that Leader in Me is embedded. We've been, Ms. McCullum and Ms. Baker primarily have been working on this for months, but multiple times they have sent emails and ask for input from other board members. If you wanted to add a suggestion, if you wanted to add additional goal. We had an executive session where it was specifically to discuss this evaluation and seek more input from other board members. And so that they could incorporate it before they rolled the final document out. So that opportunity has been there. And then just to fall back on what Ms. Hanson said, we're only 5 months away from revisiting this document to rewrite his evaluation for the next term. It's kind of unfair to change it or even delay it more when you're already way past the halfway point. So I think all of the things that might be concerns, they need to be rolled into the next evaluation tool, so that he has a chance to meet the goals on this one. And like I said, I wouldn't support that if there hadn't been so many opportunities given to make additions to it. Thank you.
Ms. Hurstis?
Thank you, Mr. Green. Thank you, Ms. Baker, Ms. McCollum. Y'all have worked very, very hard on this. I know that y'all have done this, for the past 2 years now, huh? Yeah, so thank y'all. Because I don't want to take the task, but I will say this. I mean, I don't, and I've expressed this before, I don't really like it. I'm going to abstain from voting on it. That's what my vote's going to be. Because I'm kind of a keep simple, stupid kind of thing. I don't like all the stuff. I think it should just be like little check marks, or 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of thing. I also don't understand all this, if I hear, what is it, strategic plan or whatever, one more time, my brain's going to explode. Why can't he make his own plan? Frank's not a stupid guy. He's pretty smart. And I believe that Frank can make, some of his own goals. I think that's what he should be doing. That is part of what I actually suggested, is for him to make what we call SMART goals. I think that should be something that should be added on to his own evaluation. He should have 1 year, 3 year, 5 year goals. As an entrepreneur, I know when you make a business plan, that's something that you do. Frank, I'm sure that you do that personally. That should be something that could be on an evaluation and something that we could revisit. So anyway, that's just kind of, my 2 cents. And again, I appreciate all the hard work that's been put into this. But just keep it simple, man. So, thanks.
Ms. McCollum? One last time.
Yeah, just a quick thing. I think Ms. Fauntleroy kind of mentioned this, but I wanted to reiterate that the school leadership center team said that the responses from the public community employees was one of the largest number of participation that they had ever had in collection of data from school systems when they were working with these different school systems on their strategic plans. Sorry, use that term again, Ms. Hurstis. Thank you.
Mr. Kuzan?
Thank you. I agree with Ms. Hurstis. I think that Mr. Jabier should have major input in his own evaluation. Like so many others, part of the evaluation process is the individual should also have input in what his goals are too. Sometimes they may be tougher than the ones that we are indicating here. So I like to see that whoever the superintendent is have input in his own evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kuzan. Let's please vote.
You already voted. Oh, okay. 12 yeas, 1 abstention.
That motion carries with 12 yeas and 1 abstention. Moving along, curriculum and instruction update, Dr. Langlois.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Good evening, members of the board, Mr. Jabier, Chairman Green. I have a few updates for you tonight, and then we have a presentation on our work-based learning program. The first thing, it is the time for pupil progression. The district's pupil progression plan, it outlines our placement, promotion, retention, and grading policies for our students. It includes state and local policies, and every year we have to revise that plan. And right now, we are currently seeking input from our stakeholders for any suggestions on revisions on local policies for next year for the 25-26 school year. So currently, if any stakeholder is interested, we have sent out emails and robo-text, and it's on our website, but if they are interested in submitting a suggestion, they can do so by reaching out to their principal, or they can do it on our website. There is a Google form in which they can submit suggestions there, and if they have any questions, they can reach out to myself or Ms. Mendez if they have any troubles with that. The window, it opened last Monday on January 12th, and it'll be open through a week from tomorrow, next Friday, January 24th. And once we collect all those suggestions, then we will continue our process of reviewing those. All of our schools will vote, and then we have an advisory committee. So over the summer, we will be bringing you those suggestions that come through. We are also going through a textbook adoption. If you remember previously, we reported for this year, our textbooks that we are looking at are high school social studies and career and technical education. They are currently up for review. You have books available at Harrison, at Brooks, and at all 8 of the high schools. And the review period opened when we came back from Christmas break, January 6th, and it is available and open through February 7th. And once, depending on those results and the school's votes, we will be bringing a recommendation to y'all in March. And then now I'd like to turn over to Ms. Straderberger and Ms. Alexius, because they are going to talk to you about updates on our work-based learning program.
Good evening, President Green, Superintendent Jabbia, board members, and guests. I am proud tonight to showcase our St. Tammany Work-Based Learning Program, which builds key skills, provides real-world experiences, all to make sure our students are future ready. I am also pleased to introduce our outstanding members of our Career Technical Education team that are here with us tonight. It is their commitment and their efforts that contributes to the success of this program. They are Stacy Alexius, CT Coordinator, Mary Kepp, School to Work Coordinator at Covington High, Dawn Rudiger, School to Work Coordinator at North Shore High, Courtney Milam, School to Work Coordinator at Lakeshore High, Courtney Labradette, School to Work Coordinator at Pearl River High, Charity LeBlanc, School to Work Coordinator at Salmon High, Samantha Fontenot, School to Work Coordinator at Slidell High, Rachel Schulenkamp from Mandeville High, and Sarah Wortman from Fontainebleau High could not be with us tonight. So let's now explore how work-based learning drives student success and shapes the future workforce. For over 20 years, St. Tammany Public Schools work-based learning program has been key in preparing students for life after high school by connecting classroom instruction with real-world experience. Students develop key workplace skills, they gain hands-on experience, they forge professional connections, all while contributing to both personal and economic prosperity for our community. For many students, work-based learning is their introduction to the working world. It's a chance for students to experience the workplace and just learn the ropes. Through this experience, students can gain meaningful skills like teamwork, time management, communication, and these are all skills that they can transfer to whatever career they're going to pursue. The term work-based learning and internship are interchangeable. But traditionally in St. Tammany, we use the term internship, so we're just going to continue with that terminology. Internship is the capstone experience in a student's career planning journey, a journey that starts in middle school, continues through junior high, all the way through high school. And throughout this journey, we have multiple opportunities for students to engage in career exploration and planning. As you can see here, from Future Focus Family Night to our very successful Career and College Expo, to all of our coursework and our industry certifications. All of this culminates in an opportunity for students to gain hands-on experience through our internship program. This year, Louisiana Bessie Board implemented a brand new Bessie policy. And it's exciting when we review this policy to see how closely it is aligned to what we're already doing here in St. Tammany. When our team sat down and went line by line, we were really excited to say, we're already doing that. We're already doing that. We are leading the way in this state in our work-based learning policy. Here's some of the key components that are aligned to what we're already doing. Students must, according to the policy, have opportunities to connect their career interest with meaningful work experiences. We're already doing that. Work-based learning should combine real-world experience with classroom instruction and coaching, workplace skills. We're doing that too. Students must complete on-the-job training hours to earn Carnegie credits. We've got that too. And finally, programs should include regular support site visits and required structured reflections by both the employer and the students. We're doing that too. So the only element we're still working on in the new Bessie policy is the fact that interns must be paid. But we're continuing to brainstorm and work with our industry partners to come up with ways that we can provide that financial compensation. So as you can see here, we're already championing the way in the state in our work-based learning program. Bessie has emphasized the significance of work-based learning by incorporating it into the new high school accountability model. Under the 6-year transition plan, schools will earn a 5-point bonus in their accountability score for the number of students who complete a paid work-based learning experience who also earn an advanced credential. I'm now going to toss it to Ms. Alexius, and she's going to talk to you about some of our efforts around planning that has led to the success of our program.
Good evening. I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the steps that we've taken to grow our program thoughtfully and intentionally. And I'll start with the feedback here on the left side of the screen. Last year, we implemented a survey to all of our current mentors, all of our current business partners, to get really valuable feedback from them. We had an inkling that some of these changes are coming, and so we really wanted to just have a touch point with them to get their feedback. We have lots of feedback from businesses. We have feedback from our students, and we have also solicited feedback from our partners at the St. Tammany Workforce Roundtable, which I know has been mentioned to you before, but the Workforce Roundtable consists of Mr. Jabbia, Ms. Stradaberger, and myself, as well as members from St. Tammany Corporation, Tri-Parish Works, North Shore Technical Community College, and Southeastern Louisiana University. The leadership of those, the chancellors actually of, and the president of Southeastern are on that council with us. And we meet them once a month to really find out, you know, where are we? What strengths do we have? What challenges do we need to tackle? How are we working together to refine our internship program to make it such that we can better prepare students for their future careers? In the center of the slide, you'll see that we have a pretty good emphasis on planning and then professional development. Last summer, the school to work coordinators, who I cannot emphasize to you enough how amazing they are, they and I went to visit a model internship program in New Orleans that's put on by an organization called Youth Force NOLA. And we gained some really valuable insight into their best practices that we hope that we'll be able to implement in our program as well. Finally, I want to talk to you a little bit about a conference that we went to in December, just last month. We took our high school principals to a conference. It's the ACTE Career Tech Vision Conference, which is CTE is obviously career and technical education. The entire conference was about that. And we thought that it was really important for our principals to explore best practices in all career and technical education, but especially work-based learning. There was a very heavy emphasis at this conference on student internships. And since we know that that's something that we need to grow and expand, we got a lot of really good information. And we need our staff, our administrators, to be equipped to support our students and maintain that high level of excellence that Ms. Stradaberger enumerated in the previous slide. Moving forward, you can see here in the center, or excuse me, on the left side of the slide, a flyer, because we had our communications to build this flyer for us last year, because we are very interested in maintaining, continuing our collaborative work with our business partners. So we have the flyer, we have a website, we have our workforce roundtable meetings that I just mentioned where we meet monthly. We have many opportunities to collaborate with existing and hopefully new partners. Dr. Langlois and Mr. Jabbia, as he said earlier, went and spoke to the North Shore Business Council yesterday. We have many other events such as that on the horizon where we'll be able to collaborate more and speak with local businesses, our schools, and organizations to ensure that we can just get more meaningful hands-on experiences that meet the needs of our workforce. And finally, on an exciting note, you can see the data for yourself. We had a lot of interns last year. The number is really kind of very negligible when you consider how many seniors we have. But we're very proud to announce that we have 198 paid interns right now at our schools due to the work of these ladies over here. It has nothing to do with me. They're amazing. And we're just really excited to expand that. I think you'll be hearing more about this in the upcoming months and years as we grow this program. But I don't want you to take my word for it. I'm going to toss it to Mary Kep, who is the school to work coordinator at Covington High School, and she is going to tell you a little bit about what some of our interns have to say.
Did I have the wrong thing? I think this is supposed to be Jenna. Oh, it is Jenna. Sorry. Hi. Good evening. So I will talk about my students, our students, anytime anybody wants to hear. I love to brag on them, and Jenna is just one of them. Jenna is interning at Animal Health Clinic right down the street, who's also my vet. So I feel really good that I know that she's there and she's learning great things. She wants to go into the veterinary medicine field, so that's a really good place for her. When we've talked about it, she said that this internship has given her not only confidence in the skills that she's learning as a high school student, but it's also allowing her to connect with other people, with veterinarians, vet techs, the other people who bring their animals in. So she's getting all of that experience, real world experience, in addition to the hands-on experience that she is getting through her internship. So it's just really a great opportunity. Internship is a great opportunity for all of our students as they move into the future. So I'm going to turn this over now to Dawn Rudiger at North Shore High, who can tell y'all about one of her interns.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to introduce to you Elizabeth. Elizabeth is an impressive North Shore High School intern and senior, and she is currently working at the Masker Family McDonald's business office. She has a career goal of becoming getting a marketing degree, and this experience has sparked her passion for marketing, but it's also set her firmly on the path to earning her degree. She shared with us how her internship gave her invaluable real-world experience and a behind-the-scenes look at how a successful business operates. She assists with tasks like new employee onboarding, and she also helps with resolving customer complaints. She's learning directly from her mentor, and she is applying what she's learned in the classroom to real-life situations. Through her hard work, Elizabeth has strengthened her communication and problem-solving skills while gaining a deep understanding of what it takes to run a thriving business. She's a standout example of how internship provides students with practical knowledge, valuable skills, and the confidence to pursue their goals. I'll now hand it over to Courtney Milam, Lakeshore High School to Work Coordinator, and she's going to share some insight from our incredible partners.
Good evening. So let's take a look at what our internship partners are saying about the impact of these experiences for both students and employers. At Slidell Wellness Physical Therapy, they describe Blake as an asset to their clinic and a valuable member of their medical team, highlighting his immediate contributions. Pontchartrain Customs and Collision in Mandeville praises Ben for his adaptability and strong work ethic, calling him a pleasure to work with. Abita Inboards and Strain Metalworks share how rewarding it is to mentor interns, saying they've enjoyed watching their growth over time and are excited to work with more interns in the future. For these employers, internships aren't just educational, they're strategic. They provide a chance to identify and nurture emerging talent, creating a direct pipeline for recruitment while helping shape the future workforce. After all, they know a great investment when they see one. We're incredibly grateful to our dedicated internship partners for their commitment to preparing our students to be workforce ready.
Thank you. As you can see, we have a successful program, but we're not going to sit tight on our laurels. We do have some goals that we're going to work on, so here's what we're working on next. We're going to expand paid internship opportunities. We want to grow that 198 students. We're going to grow Louisiana Registered Workforce Investment Council apprenticeships. We're going to expand basic and advanced credentials that align to our workforce needs. All of these efforts will continue to make sure our students are workforce ready. And this is a great announcement. I think you all have a flyer at your seat, but we are very excited about this opportunity. Bessie has developed this program called Bridging Success Classroom to Careers Connection Tour. And so they are going around the state. They've been to East Baton Rouge Parish. They're going to New Orleans next week. But they want to highlight opportunities where LEAs are doing best practices, connecting students to careers through work-based learning. And they have contacted us, and St. Tammany will be a best practice site. So next month, we are hosting not only our Bessie members, but we are hosting regional and local internship and business partners. We are going to be hosting other Louisiana districts around the region and the state to come here to Fontainebleau High School and learn how are we successfully building our program. We're very excited. This is a huge honor, but this is not just the only thing we're being asked to do. They want to pick our brain. How are we expanding our internship program over time? So we have been asked to serve on a panel at the upcoming Fast Forward Conference in Lafayette next month. More importantly, St. Tammany has been asked to lead a work-based learning panel at the Teacher Leader Conference in June in New Orleans. So as you can see, we're leading the way, and it is a testament to all of these ladies here at our schools that are expanding our work-based learning program to make sure our students are future ready. So I just want to thank the board because this is a big task for us to do. It's because of our collective efforts that our graduates will be future ready. We want to make sure that we're setting them up with the knowledge and the skill to be competitive in a thriving economy. So thank you, and we'll take any questions you may have.
I just want to say wow for the work that you guys do. I am very well aware of that. You guys have just come a long, long way. I was just sharing with Dr. Langlois just right before the board meeting that I started the internship program at Pearl River High School in 1989. I had 2 interns, and that was all, and you guys have grown this immensely. I just appreciate all your work because I know that contacting businesses and trying to connect the interns with their interests with a business partner, it takes a lot of phone calls and a lot of talking and a lot of paperwork in order to do all that, and a lot of research. And I just want to thank all of you, from Ms. Strataberger to Ms. Alexis and to all of you. You do an amazing job, and I just want to thank you for all you're doing. I'm glad that we're being proactive, that our Bessie Board and Accountability is requiring that our interns become paid interns, because we didn't have to do that in the past. We didn't have to require that, although I think some of our businesses paid them voluntarily. I'm excited that they are cooperating with us to help us do that, because it's not going to count on our accountability, it's my understanding, unless they are paid interns. So we are excited for the work you're doing. Thank y'all immensely.
Ms. Baker?
Yeah, awesome job to all of you all. But I do have 2 questions. My first question is, we have 2 adoptions, one social studies, and the other one you said adoption on
CTE, Career and Technical Education.
So how, we buy textbooks, I guess, for these different disciplines of CTE, I mean, yeah,
Yes.
okay. And so I wouldn't know if it's a good textbook or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate that it's gone there, but who is really
reviewing them.
Right, I mean, who would look at that and say, yeah, we need this one?
Yeah. I mean, the CTE instructors, Ms. Alexius has been pivotal. Oh, sorry, she moved. Okay, sorry, like you were over there. It is a team, but the instructors of the course.
Okay, and so does every discipline of CTE get a textbook, and is that necessary? I mean, I'm just
It
asking.
depends on the program and what's required, but yes, and a lot of our programs, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
And then the next thing, when the North Shore leaders were here, part of their concern is our workforce and our lack of people staying in the state. Is there any data that we take after they leave us to know if they're staying here or not staying here? I mean, I'm just curious.
You mean after high school or after college?
No. If they're CTE, if they're certified in something that we certified them in, and they got paid for it, I mean, I just hoping that they stay here with us.
Yeah.
Is there any data to indicate that what we're doing is making a difference in our community, in that we are being able to maintain a good workforce?
I think post-secondary workforce roundtable, Melissa, do y'all have any data from the workforce?
I'm just
roundtable?
curious. It seems
So our
like that's a
economic
good
development
idea.
partners like St. Tammany Corp and Tri-Parish Works, I mean, they do track some data about workforce development inside of our region, but that would be more a function of the State Louisiana Workforce Commission. Now, I can't speak to how they would collect that data. I mean, there's possibilities they could collect that data from certifying agencies that issue these industry-based credentials, but that's a possibility. I just can't speak to that specifically.
Thank you. I'm just in hopes that our efforts are fruitful.
No, that's a great question. Internally, yeah, it's hard because once they leave us, it's, kind of almost like self-reporting a little bit. That's why I was wondering if any of our
Well, when-
workforce
I'm just,
partners.
my
But something to
own
look
reference
into.
is my SPED background, and then after students graduate, we would still, even though they were gone with whatever they left with, whether it be a diploma or completion or whatever, we'd still have to track them. Kim's not here, so I don't know if that's still accurate or not, but it's interesting. Thank you.
Ms. Hursis?
Thank you, Mr. Green. I just have a question. With the new now, having to pay them, I mean, I do see a little bit of decline in the internship. I mean, I'm glad that they're getting paid, yay. But do we find that maybe that might hurt us in the long run?
In terms of students being interested or?
No, as far
partners?
as like our partners, because I mean, we do see a little bit of a drop, but I mean, as far as like, because I mean, we just seeing like, the comparison of 2023, 2024 to now, like what was prior to 2023, like, and do you think we might have a drop next year because of it, or?
No, actually, I don't. I think
Okay.
we are working very tirelessly with our economic development partners to bring more opportunities for our employers to see the value of paying interns, and they do. It hasn't been as hard of a sell as one would think.
Okay.
But that drop that you're seeing in the data is really, is a function of the new Bessie policy. We cannot, under the policy, place interns at their school site as student workers. So when you look at previous year data, especially that next year, last year, it was inclusive of, we have interns that intern in our school system. We have some that are, interning at other school placements, in classrooms, because they want to be teachers. They might be working at their school as lab assistants. We could not count them and capture them because they're not paid interns, and the policy specifically prohibits us from allowing student workers to count as interns.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know if, like, now that, our partners have to pay them, which, I mean, I'm sure most of them we're probably paying them anyway, well, in some type of fashion or whatever. And is there a minimum amount that they have to pay? Does Bessie have any type of requirement? Like, it has to be blah?
No, it
Okay,
only says
okay.
they have to receive financial compensation.
Some type of financial compensation.
Ms.
Okay.
Hurston, one of the challenges we're facing is there's certain organizations that, through their own policies, they cannot employ students that are under 18 years old. So that's become a serious challenge for certain organizations that we
Right.
have partnered with in the past. And those are challenges that these ladies, they're trying to find proper placements. That's been probably our biggest thing, is getting over some of those hurdles that are not created by us, but their organizations just can't pay anyone under the age of 18. So that's been a challenge.
But if it's an internship and not an employer, then they can pay them under this Bessie.
They're still,
No.
because they'd still be issuing the paycheck. And so when Ms. Striderberger and Ms. Alexius talked about getting, just being creative and thinking strategically
Yeah.
how to utilize, that's where it comes in. Because our, as Melissa just said, our community partners have been wonderful at,
Yeah.
wanting to pay. When they can pay, they really are willing to work with us. It's navigating the ones that would love to but can't. And so how do we
kinda
mitigate those
goofy.
things in a way that operates within our confines?
Right, yeah, okay. And then just one more question. So how many of the interns have kind of like maybe turned over into possible employment? Like how many do we have data on that? Two? Ah, that's awesome. Oh, well, I'm sure they're probably like, I don't want to let you go. But I was just kind of,
Yeah.
curious as to how many usually
It
are like.
really is magical. I mean, it is an amazing experience
awesome.
for our kids.
Thank y'all so much for what y'all do. That's great. Thank you.
These ladies do an amazing job. They really do.
Ms. Hanson?
Thank you, Mr. Green. I also want to thank y'all. I've worked before with many of y'all, and y'all have just, every year, it's kind of like an amazing puzzle trying to put all these students where they want to be and where, by Bessie rules and by an organization's policies, it'll fit. So thank you for doing that. Couple of questions I had. One was the follow-up as, do some of them turn into, let's say, summer jobs and because they've connected and they've shown themselves to be good employees? So you answer that. The other question I have is as it relates to our block schedule that we're going to be having in the upcoming years, how will that impact our placing students in internships outside of school? If I'm not mistaken, the interns, they have that same time period every day, is that correct? So if a class doesn't meet during that time every day, because we're on the block schedule, I mean,
We're
are we going to be able,
4x4.
how are we going to do that?
Same class every day, so it's not going to impact at all. We'll schedule just like we do now. So they'll have a class in the fall as well as a class in the spring. If they would like to intern all year, if that's a choice for the student, or we'll have a lot of options available, but it's not going to have any impact negatively on us being able to schedule internships.
And so they'll meet every day, so that's good. They'll be able to have that every day. However, how will it impact as far as, do you see any concerns with the students being paid because they're going to then be in that class period for longer?
No, it's actually getting them out in the workforce sooner.
And so the employers will be wanting them to be able to pay them for longer, be there for longer period of times. Okay, I just trying to see how it all fits together.
Great question.
Thank you.
Dr. Peterson?
Yes, I want to just say that I'm so proud of the fact that we have such a buy-in by our staff and our teachers and our school system on this program. And this is a huge coordination. It takes a lot of vision by our superintendent and his staff, because they're looking at the block schedule, facilitating those opportunities. We're looking at the community buying in and being a major part, a component of our educational system for the benefit of our students. And so these things are moving in the right direction. The tech learning facility, if that comes to fruition, that's another major component that just expands the program. Education is going in a very broad and practical, and also a very, just a new wave of the future. And I'm just excited to be just a part of this, a small part of this board, and seeing the things that are so innovative coming from our faculty, our staffs, and our superintendent. So the coordination of this is the challenge. And I just hope, and I really believe our community is going to support us on every one of these aspects, and our kids are going to be the full benefactors of a fantastic program. And as you said, we're ahead of everyone else. And that's the unique part about being first in anything, is that you become the model for everyone else. And I think that St. Tammany we've worn those shoes before, and it's exciting to see us putting them on again. And I just hope we get the full support of all the components of our educational community. And I think we will. Thank you.
Mr. Kuzan.
Thank you. I think this is a great program. You have 198 interns right now. Could you tell me the participation level of the minority students in this program? Do you have any?
I can get you that information, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kuzan. And I'd just like to point out, a few years ago, I hired an intern and we paid him. He's one of the smartest kids I've ever come across. And we offered him a job out of high school. He wanted to go to college, though. But he still comes back and he does special projects for us. We even send him stuff remotely. He joins us via Zoom calls. He's a part of our team. And he knows that when he finishes his school, if he wants to join our team, he's got a job. And it's going to pay really well, and he knows he's got a spot. But, he may end up pursuing some other opportunities, but he's been a really integral part of our team, even post-graduation. So it's a great program, and I was certainly happy to be a part of it.
I just have to say, Ms. Straderberger, Ms. Alexius, the School to Work team, they do, y'all see it. They do an unbelievable job. Dr. Peterson, you mentioned the coordination that it takes. These ladies are invested in our kids. They are rooted in our community. They work tirelessly to create relevant, meaningful, invaluable experiences. And I just cannot say enough. So thank you. I'm so glad you got to experience it that firsthand because they're second to none. So thank y'all.
Mr. Harrison.
Just very briefly, I was fortunate to have a fellow at my law firm. He graduated very high at Mandeville High and got a full scholarship to Fordham undergraduate. And I kept tracks with him. He came back and then did a clerkship again for me in the summer. And we did several projects together and very valuable. Well, he just applied to Fordham Law School. I think he's going to get in, if not another Ivy League. I wrote a letter of recommendation for him. But very bright and valuable fellow. And I told him if he graduates, I'm going to hire him. So this stuff works.
That's awesome. Thank you. Are we done with C&I? Okay. I'd like to invite Ms. Sue up for our SWE update.
Good evening, Board, Mr. Jabbia, and Happy New Year. I'm very pleased and excited to talk to you guys tonight about two upcoming events being put on by Early Childhood and the SWE Department. You've heard of the first one. We've got our fourth annual Crew to Kids coming up. That's going to be on February 18th from 5 to 7 at the Treen Technology Center. And Crew to Kids is really sort of the welcoming event for our St. Tammany families with preschoolers, pre-Kers. So we have lots of activities for the children there, tons of resources for parents. We've got a lot of community involvement, a lot of community partners show up. And kind of the biggest draw to that event, it's the launch of the pre-K and early childhood registration. And so we are there that evening to support the parents as they register for pre-K and early childhood. It's really important to note that it is on a strictly first come, first served basis. The applications are time stamped, so there's no jumping ahead in line or phoning a friend to see if you can get in early some kind of way. But we do encourage all of our families and all of your friends to come out for the event and also to register. All the information can be found on the school websites for this. And now we have our second event, which is really exciting. It's the first year that we're going to be doing the Second Line to Success. And so Crew to Kids is for our entering families, and Second Line to Success is for our outgoing families and kids, so for transition. That's going to be the next night, February 19th at Treen from 5 to 7.
And we have got all kinds of community agencies there, community partners. We've also got businesses who are going to be there to talk to the students about employment opportunities. They may even be able to interview right there on the spot. So we've got several coming, but if you guys know of any other businesses that would want to come out and be part of our Second Line to Success, please let me know. We would love to have them. We've also got some groups doing concurrent informational seminars during that event, which I think are going to be really helpful to our families. Some law firms are going to be there, all kinds of things. So, and for the kids, we also have some photographers who are coming out to take headshots that they can use for employment applications, and we'll have cap and gowns there too if they want to take a cap and gown graduation picture. So we're really excited about that. This is going to be a great event, and it'll go out on the high school websites starting tomorrow. And just real quick, Gia, we do still keep track of our sweet kiddos. We do it through a survey, so the data is as good as the surveys are, but it's for our kids who transition out. But we don't get any kind of thing. No. But do any of you have any questions about these two amazing events? We'd love to see you guys there.
Board, any questions for Ms. Sue?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Broom, our audit committee update?
Thank you, Mr. President, and members of the school board and superintendent. My name is Robert Broom from Slidell, and I'm the chair of the school audit committee. And I'm here to present a report of our latest meeting. The St. Tammany School Board Audit Committee met January 8th, 2025 at the C.J. Shane Administration Building. A quorum of 5 members were present. LaPorte CPAs reported the results of the 2024 external audit of the school board. LaPorte will make a formal report to the board in February. In summary, the external audit was a clean audit with no exceptions to proper accounting procedures found. The committee explored details of that audit, and were satisfied that the audit was done professionally and met the requirements of the school board. There were 16 school audits in the first 6 months of the 2025-26 school year. At the committee's request, the reports were analyzed, and the top 4 observations at the school level are that top 4 observations or issues that the internal audit came across. These 4 items were not creating a post-fund school fundraiser reconciliation. 9 of the 16 audited schools had that issue. Not always transferring class-collected funds from teachers' staff to the bookkeeper in the required time. 7 of 16. Obtaining principal report approval prior to fund expenditure. 6 of 16. School collected funds not deposited in the bank within the required time period, 4 of 16. All issues noted in the internal audits are addressed and corrected by the schools, and the internal auditor checks on these fixes where necessary. This kind of reviews, I think, will be beneficial to the administration in improving procedures in the future. 6 departmental audits were performed during the first 6 months of the 2025-26 school year. The following audits were performed: petty cash audit, general fund and bank reconciliations audit, substitute special and timesheet pay audit, activity bus driver audit, maintenance audit, and the Salmon High School cheer booster audit. Recommendations were made in all these audits, and these recommendations were implemented at the department level. The committee discussed the possibility of an internal audit of the major and minor discipline reports filed at the school level. This issue had come up here at a prior school board meeting, and is an important topic to the board, to the administration, and to the school parents. After discussion, it was decided that changes to the use and dissemination of these reports are still underway, and an internal audit would be premature. The committee will continue to monitor this issue and make appropriate recommendations in the future. The committee plans to have their next meeting in March, subject to finding a date that works with everyone's schedules. The administration has been very helpful, transparent, and willing to provide answers to all the committee's recommendations. Efficient committee access to administration staff is a continuing issue, and we will continue to discuss this issue with the superintendent. And that concludes my report. Thank you very much. If you certainly have any questions. I don't know whether Christie has gotten it into board docs yet. Yes, all the reports are on board docs. And I gave you a summation, but the individual reports are on board docs. And I've sent, yeah. Well, I sent it to Christie. Maybe she can get it into board docs.
Just generally, I know a few members had resigned over time. Are you able to keep up with the needed membership?
We are holding our own at this time.
Okay.
We have been recruiting ourselves. The administration's been recruiting. I've got a line on a hot prospect, so we'll see how that turns out.
So you've been operating now for a year and a half, 2 years?
It's coming up on 2 years, yes.
And have you considered any changes to the charter that might be necessary?
We've considered them. Well, we're going to consider them. We've talked about them. We will be
Okay,
taking further
we're
action.
anxious to await any improvements to the process that you guys
I understand.
may have come
We're
upon.
anxious as well. I know the superintendent is cooperative in that, and so we'll be working on that this year.
All right, thank you.
First of all, let me say thank you, because I know that you've put a lot of time into this, and so I thank you as a community member for doing this and for giving us this feedback. As it relates to the external, the presentations, the findings, if you find that there are certain areas that have these findings, do you then look to it the next time y'all do an audit and say, okay, well, let's see if this is a reoccurring finding at this particular school or this particular department?
I'd actually like to defer that to Terry. She's the expert at such things.
Okay.
Yeah, the internal auditors do follow-up audits, but most of the findings we have for schools is like a one-time thing.
Yes.
Okay, she's talking about
You were a principal.
Yes.
I mean, it happens. There's a lot of paperwork.
No,
so-
I
But
understand.
overall, I mean, they're following procedures. I mean, you may
Especially
find
when
one or
you're
two
looking at the high schools and the number of accounts that are in there, and the number of things going with that.
Sure,
So
but
I
they do
can see,
follow
and-
up. They
and
do
then
a
the-
follow-up audit on any findings and see if things have been corrected.
So
The ones,
there's-
the sample they pull.
Yeah, so we're not seeing recurring issues
Well, there's just a certain.
within.
Yeah, there's a
the
certain
same-
parameter of things we check. It's a very small list, you know this. I
Mhm.
mean, it's just basic accounting. So, yeah, when you have findings, you're going to have among that small list in the school
Mhm.
finance handbook, so.
Mhm.
But
But
no,
I
we're
just
not
want the
seeing
general
a
public
lot.
to recognize that,
Yes.
that we have this, this audit committee, but you have these internal auditors
Mm-hmm.
that go out, they work with the principal, they work with the bookkeeper, they work with the school supervisor, and it is an ongoing.
Right. Well, more so, my school accounting department, they work daily.
Mhm.
I have a clerk and a school accountant. That's all they do is work with bookkeepers.
Okay.
So we
And I
have
think the
training
public
coming
just
up.
needs to
Yeah.
know that,
Yeah.
considering. the-
Auditors are more of a point-in-time look, but we're doing it every day.
Every
We're
day.
monitoring transactions.
Of course you
that they
are.
do. Yes.
Thanks,
Yes.
Terry,
Thanks,
appreciate
Terry.
it. Thank you again, Mr. Broom.
Okay. Thank you.
Item J is certification of board members. Item J is certification of board member training and instruction for the 24 calendar year in accordance with Act 705.
Thank you, Mr. Green. So as you heard from some of the board members earlier about continuing education, this is what I have to read out for the public and for the minutes. So I do here certify that all board members have successfully completed their training in accordance with Act 705 for the 2024 calendar year. So congratulations and thank you all for taking care. And I want to thank Christy Coakley personally for helping me track these and staying on top of these numbers so that we can accurately report to the state those accurate numbers. So thank you, Christy.
I do not apologize for harassing you.
Responding to my questions whether or not I have enough hours. That concludes the business part of our agenda. Next is public comment for 3 minutes. First up is Ms. Sharp. Oh, the staff can leave if you'd like to.
That's fine. Yes.
Barbara Schropp, bus owner operator. I've been a bus owner operator for 22 years. During this time, I've purchased, insured, repaired, and maintained 3 buses. My husband was also an owner and drove for St. Tammany for 13 years. During these years, there were many instances when we used our salary and other job earnings, even in our retirement, and sometimes even made loans to pay for repairs that were necessary to make sure our buses were in top shape to service the children. The years that owners were underpaid or in the past and the current operations pay allows me to maintain and repair my buses needed. I have spent over $20,000 in major repairs in the last 10 months to ensure that my bus is operational when I need it. I have also incurred an additional cost of $2,300 by the St. Tammany Parish School System for the use of their bus while mine's being repaired. The reason I brought this up is because of my first statement. As an owner, I have bought, repaired, and maintained the bus that I use. The operations that I am paid for this are from the current year's operating funds. Since the decision by the St. Tammany Parish School System to change to their owned buses, the majority of the school-owned buses that they have been funded by what I call free money, ESSER funds, or whatever the funds were, but not from operations. Now, an item in the upcoming tax renewal is for purchasing buses. Why is transportation of children now considered capital improvements?
David Locker.
Good evening, Board. Superintendent Jabbia. My name is David Locker. How much is a teacher worth? There are many different ways to answer the question: market-based, value-based, norm or historic-based answers. When I first worked in St. Tammany Parish, I was fortunate to be able to work in a school district that was the best in the state. Among the lowest performing states in the country, Louisiana has many challenges, and St. Tammany was a bastion for education and teachers who could work and thrive in the profession. The salaries were the highest. I'm afraid this is no longer the case for teachers who previously aimed to work here for similar reasons. Watching the presentation from the consultant in August, I was struck by the comparable school districts that were put forward to make his case, including justifying our pay structure by comparing us to Orleans Parish, among others. I don't know of one taxpayer here in St. Tammany that would agree. In the end, it was a poor justification for the current status quo. It's puzzling to look at the state rankings of teacher pay now and see St. Tammany ranked out of the top spot at 14 by one source. I can imagine as a teacher, one may look around at the environment they work in, the personnel deficiencies, student behavior and discipline policies that are completely out of step with St. Tammany values, and see other districts pay and wonder, what's going on? Navigating all of these complexities, pressures, political factors, and stakeholder interests in a way that continues to be a top school district and lead the state is daunting. It appears we're not rising to the challenge. Some priorities in place currently are, it's my understanding that enrollment has declined almost 2% since 2014. And can it really be true an increase in employees over 11%? On the surface, this is not what St. Tammany Parish taxpayers expect. Some may call it waste and abuse. And it's misaligned responsibilities that on the table was a $300 million plus expansion at the same time the district, to my understanding, is having to borrow money from an unrelated fund to pay the electric bill. There's absolutely no reason why a $500 million budget can't have the gold standard of education in the state and pay our teachers a top 3 salary. There's no reason we can't display above average leadership to bring us to the top again. No reason. Instead, despite your best efforts, we're making our teachers miserable, micromanaging them off to the doctor or out of the profession, creating school environments which are wringing out the energy from teachers and causing school performance to sink, in turn, sinking our ranking. You'd think we were tanking to get a top draft pick. We need to ask what we want. A gold standard school district again, a top 3 parish for teacher salaries, a bastion for education where teachers and students thrive. If that's what we want, we need leadership to get us there. Thank you.
Brian Osborne.
Good evening again, board members. Brian Osborne, Federation President. Happy Board Appreciation Month. I know a thankless job often, and you probably get the opposite of thanks a lot of times. So I want to thank you before I get into my remarks. That being said, I'm always going to worry more about the morale and the mental health of teachers and school employees than I do the feelings of elected officials and highly paid executives. That's just a flat fact. We're in a crisis time, and I just want to let you know we all need to be cultivating professional skepticism. That's a line that came out of that budget document. That's what the auditors have, professional skepticism. So please don't interpret any of these as personal attacks. I like working with Superintendent Jabbia, his team. I like them as people. But this is about challenging this district to get better and better. So just a quick history lesson. I think it's time to reevaluate. February 12, 2021, the previous board voted to approve a management expansion. I believe it was the largest in history. It was a contentious board meeting, but it passed with the caveat that the plan, the management restructure, will be looked at every single year. Fast forward, this current board granted a contract extension June 22nd, 2023. Only 2 out of the 15 board members voted to appoint the current superintendent. 9 of the board members had only seen the superintendent in action for 6 months. There was a move to table it because some of the language was dated, talking about the pandemic and soft standards, but that was defeated 4-11. It finally passed 12-2. 6 months later, there was a presentation, December 12, 2023. In that presentation, there was a slide that said 4 districts ranked in the top 10 for both proficiency and growth. We were positioned at the top of that graphic. You had Lincoln Parish, Plaquemines Parish, West Feliciana. The respective rankings, overall rankings of those districts was 6th, 8th, and 2nd. Our overall score was 24th, the lowest in district history, but you wouldn't have known it from that presentation. So when I talk about dog and pony shows, that's what I mean. Celebrate the good, but we've got to look at where are we deficient? You're not going to get better. So in coaching terms, when you watch film, you don't just watch the highlight reel. You watch what went wrong. And that's not mean. We have to get better. We didn't invite the Mandeville High School Quiz Bowl team in here because of growth. They're competitive. They're hungry. That's what drives success. That's what one of the young people said. We've got to get hungry and competitive. Stop competing against previous scores and growth and compete against the rest of the state. Taxpayers in St. Tammany, I would expect nothing less than top 10, But you know, when we said we try to get to the top, we're talking about top 3. It's time to reevaluate the management restructure. We would like an organizational chart from this current model, going back to Folse, and then also Sloan, and let's see what's what. Thank you.
Lee Barrios?
Lee Barrios, retired teacher. I guess you could say I'm beating a dead horse since you already voted on the evaluation instrument, but I think somebody did say it's fluid, subject to change, so hopefully some more input is welcome. We understand that the evaluation instrument is based on the strategic plan. I don't know if that's by force, by, proclamation by the Department of Education, or if that's a choice you made. However, sometimes you can't correlate one instrument to another, no matter how hard you try, directly correlated. And I think that's the case, at least with what you've come up with so far, okay? Maybe it could be written so that there's a correlation that shows how the superintendent's evaluation correlates with what was actually done. And I want to give you an example from this of very questionable. How can you correlate it, and will it really have anything to say about the superintendent? For strategic plan number 3, element 3.2, central office leaders increase the communication of the availability of internal staffing and the partnerships that provide students with mental health support. That to me is it's just something that department should be or is going to do to improve. However, to rate it a 4, it says greater than 75% of students who received services, mental health services, report the service was helpful, and greater than 75% of students who sought mental health services strongly agree that their mental health has improved. I don't see how that can correlate at all, and that would be such a small number in comparison, okay? Plus, I don't know that students with mental health issues or that have had those services should be questioned or surveyed relative to their mental health condition as improving or not. The students can't be identified. How can you even survey them? So that's just an example, and I hope you continue to look at this and try to make this a real evaluation, the part of it that relates to the evaluation of the superintendent. It's only fair to him, and it's only fair to anyone who really wants to know, or to you all to determine if in fact he's been evaluated properly, and actually what is improving in the district. Thank you.
Stephanie Underwood?
Stephanie Underwood, St. Tammany Federation. Happy School Board Appreciation Month. I am here to kind of piggyback on what Coach Loop talked about earlier in the day, in this meeting. The Social Security Fairness Act passed, which is very exciting for a lot of people, and most people do know already. I do find one or two here and there that don't know about it, so I have to educate them. And I do want to point out, we really appreciate your resolution. And also, American Federation of Teachers was one of the main people fighting for years and years and years for this. In fact, Pam Alexander, who has the Facebook, actually thanked AFT. So I don't always see eye to eye with them, but this is something that I am very proud to be associated with them for, and I want to thank them as well, because they had a lot of boots on the ground for this for many, many years. And we're not by DC, so we couldn't really do much besides call or email. So them being close to DC, being able to show up definitely helped. So we're going to celebrate now. Thanks.
Katie Perkins?
Hi, Katie Perkins. I'm coming to you guys as a staff member, teacher, as well as a parent of 2 students in the district. Thank you for letting me speak. I've never been to one of these meetings before. I wrote down some notes. So first, I heard Ms. Hanson talking about school culture and mental health, and that really hit me as I was sitting back here because this experience has been really stressful. So to start, my name is Katie Perkins. My family moved to St. Tammany when my husband received orders to work nearby this summer. My husband serves as an officer for the U.S. Navy, and he's been in for over 20 years. This means that my family has moved quite a few times, which can be stressful. So we've been through like stress before we got this, right? I was excited when we came to Louisiana to apply for a teaching position. We got here after the school year started, so I was nervous about finding a job, but I was very excited when I got a phone call to come and interview for a position. Sorry, I'm super emotional. Upon being hired, I was told by the principal that unfortunately, no time for training or orientation is allocated. I was expected to walk into the class and teach on day one, without time to review emergency plans and protocols, without time to complete the 700+ minutes of online training videos required, which is over 12 hours worth, or be able to preview the curriculum and the standards that I would be teaching, and without time to review students' individual education plans, 504 plans, and behavior plans that I would be servicing. I did not have access or time to do this before my first day. It took me 3 weeks to have access to JPAMS. And first of all, this is a big safety concern. I personally experienced this on my very first day of working, being the teacher in the classroom. We had a shelter-in-place situation. I had not been trained. To say that this transition has been rough or stressful is an understatement. I am asking you to please review training for new teachers. There needs to be time for teachers to become situated. This for the safety of the children and to help ensure a greater retention of certified teachers when we're already experiencing a shortage. I guess that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to our public comment speakers. Schools and offices are closed Monday, January 20th, in observation of Dr. Martin Luther King. The next committee as a whole meeting will be held Thursday, February 6th at 6 p.m., and the board meeting will be held on February 13th at 6 p.m., both at Brooks and Slidell. And without any further agenda items, this meeting is adjourned.